I had mentioned Dan Bongino yesterday because he was coming back to podcasting and he had this first 2 hour show and he was revealing all this stuff. And I was interested to know what did he have to say about this? What was going on at the FBI? And especially, of course, what did he know about the Epstein Files? And I was glad to find out that he said something that was pretty much like what were my conclusions being outside of the FBI. This is something that, in fact, many people thought would happen because of the Epstein Files. It was a level 10 problem. It was never going to please everyone. And this is Dan Bongino's words about the Epstein Files.
But it was a level 10 problem. It was never going to please everyone. The person I thought at the time who nailed what the issues were with this was our good friend Mike Davis. I'll play the CNN one, the clip next, but throw up Davis's tweet. There were a ton of problems with this. There was grand jury material. There was, he put this out. He's, anyone who rapes kids deserves the death penalty. Amen. Here's the problem with the Epstein mess. The FBI doesn't have the evidence many thought it did. I want to see the files, folks. I said, don't let it go. I meant it. We got elected. We looked at it. The file was not, what was in there was not what we thought would be in there. There are not tapes with powerful men raping kids. There is not a list. Epstein's Rolodex was already public. The file's largely unreleasable for many reasons, including grand jury material, which they're moving to get a lot of that out.
That is one thing that we're going to address, the lack of videos of powerful people sexually abusing kids. I'm going to address that on a later topic. That is something that we absolutely need to talk about, and the theory of why the FBI doesn't have any sort of video of that nature.
Court records under seal, child pornography that was downloaded from the internet. You can read the rest of it, protection of victims. We obviously don't want victims' names out there. Here's another one. Keep that up for a second. Double or triple hearsay. You're seeing it now. You're seeing on Twitter, like, this guy said Joey Bag of Donuts, cut this woman with a razor, or this young girl while raping her. And you're like, wow, that's a really horrible story. It's terrible. And then you find out Joey Bag of Donuts was some famous athlete who was playing a game in Phoenix that night. Like, a lot of this stuff was just people not all of it. This is an extremely serious case. Let me be crystal clear. But that doesn't mean every single tip that came in, had any kind of veracity to it at all. A lot of the stuff was clearly debunked.
So that's what I told you yesterday, that Trump was ultimately right about this being a hoax crafted by Democrats, because the Democrats were the ones who opened that FBI tip line for everything regarding Epstein, and everybody went crazy with that tip line, sending all this, let's say, making this bag of absolute misleading tips that now are being weaponized by countless content creators right now to push narratives that obviously are there. The fine print is there, but they still want to run with it. So all this confusion, all that is happening, yeah, people wanted to see the Epstein Files. I wanted to see the Epstein Files, but I personally, I didn't realize that. Yeah. Also, the bad tips or the misleading tips were going to be released, and this is what's going to be a cluster F. And this has been a cluster F. And on the other hand, the release has allowed us to, let's say, find out things about, let's say, like Peter Attia, that people are saying, oh, Peter Attia is the current Prince Andrew. You remember that Prince Andrew back in the day was the only one who was tied to Epstein and was photographed with Epstein, and he was like the scapegoat of everything. And right now, we can't say that there's one single scapegoat. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of names. You might not have a tidy list in, I don't know, Microsoft Excel and all of the sort, but we do have a list of people who were in contact with Epstein and in very strange and disgusting circumstances. Many of them not illegal per se, but they will have to answer to the public opinion in one way or another. And that's what Dan Bongino was saying. Yeah, this was going to be a mess one way or another.
He said, does anyone believe Bondi, Patel, or Bongino would cover up for Bill Clinton or Bill Gates? Didn't even make sense. I was all over this case on my show. The Trump DOJ wanted to be fully transparent, but it couldn't at the time for the reasons above. It's not going to satisfy many, and that's fine. But folks, I'm not going to spend the next 2 years talking about it. This administration got you the information. You can all look at it. And a lot of people are using it to divide us from the inside. Those are just the facts. That's just the way it goes. And by the way, the dividing people from the inside thing is not working.
Yeah, the thing is that many people were saying, many commentators on the right, conservatives, were saying there's no use on releasing the Epstein Files anymore. And it seems that they had a point. But at the same time, I don't know, I am in the camp that it was a net positive to release all this. Because that's how you spotted two things. First of all, I am for full disclosure. I know that sometimes can be, let's say, a bit difficult to understand the actual tips from the chaff. But this is a good opportunity to see out there who is not a real, conservative, who is out there just for clicks. They just want clicks. They don't want the truth, or they have some kind of grudge. All of this center right, center left, who have a grudge with Donald Trump for some reason, and they keep repeating this 13-year-old who was killed and buried at his golf course. They're doing that, and they're being exposed. They're exposing themselves. So I think that is a net positive for every single one of us. So we know who to listen to. And I hope that I am the ones who you listen to, because I try to be fair in every single of this analysis. We continue.
A lot of this is bullshit. A lot of it is foreign operations designed to make us divorce ourselves from the inside, current thing, everything. It is a deadly serious case. There is zero doubt about it. Everyone in the administration treated it as such. Everyone from the start. But it was not, it was a level 10 problem. I can prove it to you. No one else had solved it in the past. Correct? Those are just the facts.
Yeah, those are just the facts. And I've always said that I think that Bongino is one of the good guys. And sadly, he being out of the FBI for personal reasons was not a good sign. But at the same time, what he's saying is aligned with what we have seen and we have analyzed in this channel. So it's not out of the ordinary. We still have a lot of crazy stuff to cover in terms of the Epstein Files. I still believe that was not the best way to handle this from Pam Bondi, because I think that they did not realize at first what was this all about. They did not realize the amount of content, the amount of documents, the amount of, and they were talking about this in a rather casual way. Bondi said that there were all these videos, of course, of children being abused, that of course are not going to be released. That is obvious. Nobody wants to watch that. Nobody wants to see that. But at the same time, people wanted to know, people wanted the accountability of the powerful people who absolutely did bad things at Epstein's Island. And we're going to talk about those tunnels in this show. And that is the main topic of this show, by the way. But I would like to know, what do you think about Bongino's words in the comments? My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Power Pundit. Much love.